For the past 4 weeks, we've been giving our predictions on who we think is going to win the respective divisions of the National Football League. Tonight, we make our predictions on who we think is going to the 2022 NFL playoffs. Who will miss the playoffs by the skin of their teeth, and who will advance to the biggest game of them all, Super Bowl 57. It's showtime. From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sport. Represent a busted up a nation, bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Ezra Pickering, Joey Thornton, Kevin Rory, Randy Giron, and Stephen Wyand.
All right, here we go, guys. Or shall we say, guy for right now. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show, everybody. It is once again Tuesday, which means it is time to talk sports. And well, we say nothing but sports, but half the time we get into other bullshit anyways. Thank you for joining us. We are here. We are live once again on a beautiful Tuesday. Thank you for joining us wherever you're joining us at. Of course, we got to go through all the multiple ways you can follow us. Of course, you can follow us at Twitter at @ON_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show. You can follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show. And of course, on YouTube, right here, where we are live, YouTube.com/C/Our Nation Sports Show. Like, subscribe, share, keep us up there and subscribers, guys, because we love doing this for you guys. It's what we do. We love talking sports, and we love getting into other stuff as well when we can. Also, don't forget to follow my cosplay group at 2 Sweet Cosplay on all of our socials, including our YouTube channel. Find us there. Of course, I will be at All Out Weekend this coming up weekend. I will be at the All Out Fan Fest, especially for the Busted Open panel. Cannot wait for that. Of course, autograph opportunities, other panels, and more than that. I'll be at All Out, Rampage, and GCW, the Art of War Games this weekend, and my crew will be too. So if you find us, come say hi, and all that good stuff. But enough of my spiel and plugging my own bullshit. Let's go ahead and let's get rolling, guys. Fortunately, Kevin will not be joining us tonight. He has a family thing that he has to take care of. So we'll probably see Roy this coming up next week, to be honest. But Joey and Randy will be joining us very shortly. Joey, of course, at the bottom of the hour. Randy will join us at the bottom of the hour, and Joey will be joining us here in just a few minutes. So when they get in, we'll have them do a quick introduction and all that stuff. But right now, we got with us the two OGs here. You got with us. Actually, make that 3.
There we are.
Perfect timing. The man just arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Of course, our one of the 5 hosts of this damn program, the one, the only, Joseph Thornton. Buddy, what's going on, man?
What is up, everybody? I apologize for being late. I had to get things ready for our house inspection for tomorrow.
Oh, that's always fun. You got to love that, being a tenant.
Yeah, for real.
Thank God I don't have that. My landlord's only been over 4 times in the past 14 years. Cheers to that.
Wow.
1 second, quickly before we get everybody intro. My landlord has not bothered me. She doesn't come over, check the grass, doesn't do nothing. She's come over only to inspect damage when we call her from storms or whenever we have some housework that needs some big time housework that needs to be done. Then we'll call her. Otherwise, she never comes over, and she lives 20 minutes away from here. So there you
go.
Wow.
Interesting.
And there's your house report of the day. Don't forget to check it out on HTTV. Anyways, moving forward. Good to see you here, Joey, as always. We got a lot to talk about. And, of course, we can't do this without this guy. Of course, my heavy metal brother from North Kakalaki, as I always say, that the man who's got more hits on his drum head than Lars does in St. Anger. Ladies and gentlemen, Wyand.
What is going on, everybody? Man, I do have more hits on my drums compared to St. Anger because there were times Lars was just banging that drum like it was just a trash can. Wait, it did sound like a trash can, but I digress. Anyways, we are here to talk about...
Hold on, Steven, hold on. How can it sound like the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh!
No. You guys are saying the wrong thing. It sounded like the New York Jets.
Good point.
Wait. It sounded like the Houston Astros trash cans.
Oh.
Anyways, we are here to talk about our predictions for the 2022 NFL playoffs. We're here to talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? The Jets won't win a game.
Well, I might give them 1 or 2 wins, but they're about, I'd say, 10 million light years away from making the playoffs as long as a MILF hunter is their quarterback.
Oh, yeah. That part.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go.
Oh, yeah, we got a packed show for you guys, as always. To a degree, we got a lot to talk about. I know Randy's supposed to be here at the top of the hour to give his playoff predictions as well. So let's get into a couple things first. Let's talk about a few things. And the main thing I want to get into, and I know it's a sensitive subject and I don't want to get too deep into the aspects of it, but the situation involving former punter Matt Araiza. Matt Araiza, he has been accused of gang raping a 17-year-old girl at a party. And now he has been released as the punter for the Buffalo Bills. And now his parents have come out, released a statement saying they're getting death threats from fans and people who don't even know them, and they're getting trivialized for their son's transgressions. And this is something that a lot of people did not see coming. The guy who's a great punter at that. And unfortunately, he's now out of a job, and his life might be ruined by the situation if everything comes to light. Mind you, this has not have been proven in a court of law. This is still just an accusation at this point. I mean, yes, is there possible damning evidence? There's testimonies and stuff, but we don't know, as the court systems have not worked this stuff out. So please take this all with a grain of salt. Just saying for measures. But I want to get you guys' quick opinions on this while we wait for Randy to get here. Your thoughts on this whole thing, Joe?
It's always disheartening whenever something or some sort of allegation comes into the light like this, and it can happen at just about any given time. It can happen in high school, it can happen in colleges, and it can happen when you're in the pros. And it's always disheartening for a certain player's career to end, or I wouldn't say 100% end, but I'm saying more like a 85-90% end, because it's just rough for him right now, and I can probably understand what he's feeling. And this may eventually come out to where he wasn't even involved at all, and I hope that is the case, because Matt Araiza, even though he wasn't used very fondly last year because of how good the Buffalo Bills offensive side of the ball was, which we'll get into that later, Araiza is still a good punter. He came from a lesser-known school, San Diego State University, that has actually produced quite a few pro athletes. It has produced quite a few pro athletes over the years. So it's always disheartening for an allegation like this to come into the light, and some players' careers can come to an end just as soon as it begins. So, if I had to give my personal advice, sometimes you could prevent things happening, but always watch out for yourself because you never know when you might get an accusation or an allegation against you. And sometimes it's a bunch of nothing, which we have seen quite a few of that over the years, but it can also turn into a major something, which again has also happened quite a lot over the years. So
Yep.
always watch out. So always watch out for yourself because you never know what could be coming around the corner.
Absolutely. Steven?
Great points, Joey. I mean, like it's a very damning situation. You know, when you look at this whole situation, like here's a guy who was barely used last year, and and everybody takes punters for granted because they're not a major contributing factor as far as who scores points and who makes the stops. But the punter is a very important situation because that will determine on where you are on the field as far as your starting position, whether you get great field position or very poor field position, depending on the opposing team's drive. And the fact that his parents are getting death threats, look, I'm not condoning what he did because it's wrong, for sure. But the thing is, you can't make death threats to his parents because, I mean, they're probably more than likely not like their son. Their parents, if they're good parents, they instill, good deeds and good decision makings from their kids because they teach them right from wrong. But, but it's up to the children to decide what's right and what's wrong because you were taught at a young age what you can't do and what you can do. And his actions have resorted to this, and it's not surprising because the Buffalo Bills made the quick, reaction to get rid of him and cut their ties with him. And even if he is innocent from this, if he is, I think his career is still done because, you guys know this as well as I do, is the NFL and sports in general is in today's standards is a what have you done for me lately kind of aspect. Because if you're not, making good decisions or even past bad decisions can haunt you for the rest of your life, especially your professional life, because I honestly truly think his career as we know it, it's over.
Yeah, basically it is damning, and like I said, this is an accusation. This has not been proven in a court of law, but there's always some sort of truth that ends up coming out in some form or fashion. And it's very interesting, and we're gonna find out hopefully soon once these allegations get taken into a more court context, and we'll see what happens from there. But if this is true, all the best go to that girl that was in a bad, unfortunate situation. Should never happen. So that's all I got to say about that. Real quick, we talked today has been a day of roster cuts and moves from different players and different teams, trying to trim down to that 53-man roster to the point where there was even speculation if fucking Justin Herbert was going to stay with the fucking Chargers. Joking. Phil the Yates tweeted, now the speculation is over. Justin Herbert staying with the Chargers.
God.
But in all seriousness, though, one of the biggest news stories that came out of this past 24 hours is the fact that the 49ers have re-signed for 1 year Jimmy G. Jimmy Garoppolo is
and there he is.
Francisco. And Randy comes in just in time as we're getting ready to talk about some West Coast teams. Here he is right here. Randy Giron he's here, but his audio isn't. His audio isn't. It's turning into Kevin's internet signal half the time.
The Matrix.
I like that movie.
The hacking system, glorious.
Yes. But this is very interesting. This is very, very, very weird to see because we all thought Jimmy G was completely gone from the San Fran picture. After they couldn't come to an agreement, we all thought Jimmy G was on his way out. This is it, the end, bye bye. But apparently not so. Apparently he signed on for what? How much?
It was a 1 year. I think it was $6.5 million. I
Yeah,
believe it was.
yeah, $6.5 million 1 year deal to stay as the quarterback for the 49ers.
6.5. 6.5.
6.5.
No 4. 6.5.
6.5, yeah. But we're idiots. But hey, he's live with us, man. Randy, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are y'all tonight?
What's going on, brother?
What's going
Sorry,
on, man?
What's up, Rando?
Sorry I'm on so late. I was signing my $6.5 million deal with the 49ers.
They
The
said-
Lakers, you mean?
They said Jimmy G, not Randy G.
Oh,
You'll be
Oh.
lucky. You'll be lucky if you get a
Oh.
$6.60 deal with the 49ers.
oh,
You might as well go take that money and buy yourself a $6 your way meal from Burger King.
that's what I'm gonna have to get. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna have to get. That's all they're gonna pay me. But
I
yeah,
need to quit talking about food, otherwise I'm gonna order food while I'm sitting here. Let's not do this. Anyways, this is pretty cool that Jimmy G has decided to go one more round with San Fran after everything that went down. Randy, you being a fan, especially of a West Coast team and yourself with the Raiders,
Uh-huh.
I want to get your opinion on the Jimmy G resigning for one more season. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, it makes sense for the Niners because they knew if they let him go, Seattle and the Rams possibly going to come calling. So there is no way they're going to let him go for cheap or trade him. So and the Trey Lance thing, not set in stone. I would have tried to keep Jimmy G around too because you just never know. You never know what could happen. I mean, preseason is one thing. You can throw all the long bombs you want in preseason, but it translates into on week one. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, especially when you have a roster, especially when most of the time in preseason games it's not even the full roster, so you're not getting because they're still of course trying to see who stays and who goes is going to be the most overall effective player in that lineup. As we know today, we were just talking about brief second. I was mentioning about all the roster cuts that are being currently made right now, and it keeps going on as we're talking. Adam Schefter, Fieldy Yates, Ian Rappaport are reporting cut after cut after cut because they're trying to get these teams are all trying to get down to the 53-man roster before the deadline. And like you said, this whole the Trey Lance thing is not a sure thing because of the fact that with Trey is still young, he's still learning. Yes, he can throw the deep ball, but if you have a team that let's say has a great defensive core that can stop those long deep routes, and he throws that bomb, next thing you know it's an interception, or next thing you know it's a tipped block pass.
Or they know his tendencies where he likes to look to certain receivers like, oh, he's always locked on number one or number two, not going through his progressions, and they can scout that very easily and go, okay, he's going to focus on, Samuel, or use check or, on the fullback, or Kittle, and he's going to go through those. They're going to focus on him because see, the biggest thing to me with this is a great move by San Francisco. And I agree with Kevin in our chat this past week. And we were talking about this. Is that Garoppolo now essentially is there as an insurance policy, and there to be there for Lance if he goes down with an injury or if he's struggling, because at any given opportunity, Garoppolo can pretty much just jump back in there and he knows the playbook because he's been there for about 4 to 5 years.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that team is built to win right now. And they were winning with Jimmy G. So, I mean, it just makes sense to keep him around, of course. And especially, like I said, I don't think they're going to really crush his confidence, pull him in week 3 or something. But, at some point though, if it's not working, they have that fail safe, and that they're smart for keeping him around.
Exactly. This is a great move by San Francisco, because to be sure that they are in the hunt for the NFC West, because I mean they were a couple of plays away last year from going to the Super Bowl. Then
Oh, them.
if that defense would have held, if Garoppolo would have made half the mistakes that he did, they would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah, and that's one thing, Steven, I'm glad you brought that up. With the whole only going to receiver one, receiver two. That's a problem I saw with a lot of quarterbacks at the Bears, including Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler only relied, or Trubisky even. Trubisky only relied on one receiver a lot of times, and that was usually Allen Robinson. And he only relied on him. And that's it. And Trey Lance has got to use all of his weapons. He's got to use all of his weapons. Whether to set up, whether it's a wide receiver, tight end, or all wide receivers, he's got to use his weapons. And he's got to use them effectively.
If the pass isn't there on the deep or the deep or the inside, he goes for the check down with the running back or the fullback. I mean, because if Trey's a smart quarterback, he should know that by now, because he's a pro. Now that he's a pro, he knows the playbook with San Francisco a little bit, but you can know it in practice, but when you come to game time and you're in real time speed, it's a different way of the game, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Lance does at the start of the season, next weekend. And how long can he survive, as a starter? And now that Garoppolo is back, and that's going to be on Trey's back, going, oh, if I struggle, then that means Jimmy G's probably going to come in here, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens.
Sure.
Yeah. One thing real quick, Joey, before we get you to speak about this, also when it comes to Trey Lance, and real quick with Jimmy G has that experience. He's been in the playoffs. He knows exactly what being a star quarterback truly is. He's had great seasons. He's done an excellent job. And so Trey's got to be on his toes, and he's got to be ready for when the time comes in case Jimmy G gets injured or whatever. But Trey, this is a perfect learning experience for him. This is a perfect time to be under the learning tree of Jimmy G while he's still there. That way he can learn and progress, if that being the case. We know Trey Lance. We know his history. But you never know. Anything is possible in the world of sports. We know that from all the trades we've seen in all different sorts of places. Joey, your thoughts on Jimmy G rejoining San Fran?
Before I get into that, I do want to say that the roster cut deadline was 4:00 today, so every team should have 53 players on their roster by now. But as far as the Jimmy G situation goes, I do agree with what Steven said. It gives the 49ers an extra insurance policy just in case Trey Lance gets injured or if he starts to struggle a little bit. You got a player, like you said, Ezra, who has a bunch of experience in there, who can make the throws when he needs to. And yeah, I mean, he's going to make mistakes. I mean, all quarterbacks make mistakes, even the good ones or great ones this year, like a Josh Allen or a Justin Herbert or a Patrick Mahomes. I mean, every quarterback is going to make some sort of mistakes. And the fact that Jimmy G has so much experience under his belt, because we got to remember where Jimmy G learned his experience from, and that was studying the man who Randy absolutely despises, that of course being Tom Brady. I mean, the fact that Jimmy G was able to learn under Tom Brady for so many years made him become the, I guess you could say, student become teacher, or the follower become leader, because now Jimmy G can use that experience that he's learned from Tom Brady over the years to make Trey Lance seem like a durable dual threat quarterback who can actually make strides in the NFL.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that. So it's good to have Jimmy G back if you're a San Fran fan. I know Kevin's happy about it. Definitely we'll have him on next week to talk more about it. And of course, as we get closer to the season, we're going to talk more about that plus all the other stuff. But we got to get into a discussion that we're going to have right now, and that is predictions. And predictions for the division winners, predictions for your wild card round. It's going to be interesting to hear from you guys what your predictions are and what teams do you have in those slots. Because some divisions are more wide open than others. Some are pretty much just one team is basically it. The others are dead in the water to begin with.
Yeah.
So we talked about with each division last week. So now I want to get you guys as kind of your own pictures on this one. So Steven, why don't you go ahead and lead the conversation off with your playoff predictions and your wild card.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially with some of these divisions, because I mean, like we all know, the AFC West and the NFC West.
Oh, by the way, I noticed you, Steven. I forgot to ask, how's your sandwich?
But it was good. Hey, I finished that bad boy quick before we went live. It was good.
Yeah, I got comments for that, but I'll leave that one for off the air.
Yeah. Anyways, continuing. So as we all know, the NFC West and the AFC West is one of the or two of the top divisions in the NFL, and I really think that it's really going to be tough, especially with these wild cards, because any team in these wild cards with some of these tough divisions like the AFC West, NFC West, maybe the teams in the NFC North, AFC North can squeeze in there. But these are my predictions. So I have in the NFC, my number one seed is the defending Super Bowl champions, Los Angeles Rams. At number 2, I have the Green Bay Packers. Number 3, this might shock some people, the Philadelphia Eagles at number 3. Number 4, Tampa Bay. Obviously, Tampa Bay being the one team in the NFC South that is the best team, and everybody else is just mid. My wild card teams, the first wild card team, the 5th seed, the San Francisco 49ers. I'm looking for San Francisco to have a really good year this year. I mean, honestly, Kyle Shanahan has nothing to lose with this team, as far as now that he has his insurance policy and Jimmy Garoppolo, to back up Trey Lance, that defense, that offense, now that Deebo Samuel is finally signed to a long-term deal with San Fran. He is a deadly weapon on the outside and the inside and in the backfield. He can play multiple positions. Hell, he could even throw a football, when it's called upon. It's crazy. And obviously George Kittle being one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. And I'm just looking for San Francisco to be some headhunters this year, and to claim that 5th seed again this go round. My 6th seed, how about them Cowboys? Yes, even though all of us pretty much have Dallas at number 2 behind Philadelphia. Most of us picked Philadelphia to win and Dallas to be second. But I'm thinking Dallas has plenty enough weaponry on the offensive end, obviously with Dak Prescott, when he's healthy. That is the key words, when he's healthy. And Ezekiel Elliott, geez Louise. Come on. Come out of that Salvation Army, damn it, and play like a true running back like you had the last several years. The last couple of years, he's been kind of up and down. If Zeke is healthy and got his mind focused, he could be deadly. And, it'll be really interesting to see how Dallas does this year, with who can Dak trust to be that number 1 receiver. Obviously, now that Amari Cooper is no longer there with them. Maybe it'll be CeeDee Lamb. Who knows at this point? But anyways, Dallas at number 6.
Even for that pick on Dallas.
I appreciate that. And my number 7th pick, I'm not feeling super great about it, because the 7th seed is usually the team that slips in there by the skin of their teeth. And I really think that, there's so many ways I can go with this. I could pick the Cardinals out of the NFC West. I can pick the Vikings. It's really tough, but if I had to pick, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to barely make it in. Arizona will be in the mix, but I just don't trust Kyler Murray to make the big plays down the stretch, because last year, guys, Murray was up and down. Like in the first half of the year, he was really well. and that second half happened, especially with that first loss to Green Bay, the downward spiral came for Arizona slowly but surely. Yeah, they made it into the postseason, but they got their asses stomped by the eventual world champion Rams 34-11. So those are my teams out of the NFC. Now for the AFC, I think it's no questions, guys, that the Buffalo Bills are the team. They are the team to beat in the AFC this year. I mean, all the weaponry on the offensive end, the defense, especially getting two-time Super Bowl champion and former MVP Von Miller on that defensive side of the ball, plus all the weapons on offense with Josh Allen and Davis and Diggs. I mean, come on. I mean, Buffalo is just the world beaters, you know, and this is their conference, I think, to lose. I think Buffalo has all the talent in the world to compete with all the top teams, not only in the AFC conference, but in the NFC if they get to the Super Bowl. So I got Buffalo at number 1. Number 2, who dey? I got the Cincinnati Bengals at number 2, the defending AFC champions and AFC North champions. Number 3. Oh, this is tough. I mean, number three. You know what? I'm gonna go with. It's so tough. I mean, okay, I'm gonna ride it. The hell with it. Los Angeles Chargers at number 3, and then I don't feel good about my pick a couple weeks ago picking the Chargers to be the AFC West champions. I don't like the pick because, you know, it's just because they're such an up and down team. You don't know which Charger team you're going to get. I mean, Justin Herbert, if the guy can if he can quit throwing turnovers and fumbling the ball, and the defense can quit blowing coverages, maybe they can actually make it to the playoffs as a top contending team. So I don't like it, but I'm sticking with it. The Los Angeles Chargers at number 3, and obviously the AFC West champions. Number 4, the Tennessee Titans, going to be the AFC South champs once again. The King, Derrick Henry, baby. That's all I got to say. He's a man amongst boys. And for the wild card, number 5, the 5th seed in the wild card, the first team up. Randy, you're going to like this one, brother. How about them Raiders? The Las Vegas Raiders. That's right. The Vegas Raiders at number 5. I really like the Vegas Raiders this year. I really think that they have a true upside, you know, with Derek Carr, obviously at quarterback, and with his now new favorite T-O-Y, toy. Yeah, Toy Story reference for all you guys out there. Devontae Adams to be the number 1 receiver, you know, and this combination of Adams and Carr is going to be lethal. And I really think that Vegas, you know, with those two guys are going to lead the Vegas Raiders to the postseason. My 6th seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right. I'm going with the 3 teams out of the AFC West. Even though we're not counting out Patrick Mahomes because, I mean, let's face it, he's a Super Bowl champion, MVP, you know, all that good stuff. He's a top 10 quarterback, top 5 quarterback, you know, especially in this league, you know, this day and age. And here's the tough part. The 7th seed out of the AFC. Again, I mean, as we all know that the 7th seed is a really tough seed to get because it's all the teams that are scratching and clawing just to get in.
Yeah.
And man. I think I am going to go. Oh man, I am going to go with the Indianapolis Colts as the 7th seed. I really think that Matt Ryan being there, he can add some veteran, you know, knowledge to this team. And if they can, you know, get some consistent wins, you know, string a couple of wins, you know, in a row, maybe they can have a fighter's chance at making the playoffs. I think they're barely going to make it. I think the teams that are just going to barely miss out, Baltimore, I think Baltimore has a pretty good shot at making it if Lamar Jackson can be consistent. And if John Harbaugh, for the love of God, cannot go for all these 2-point conversions that he went for last year. That right there was the depth of the Baltimore Ravens last year and them not making the postseason. I don't feel confident with my Colts pick of them making the postseason. I mean, it's a 7th seed. I mean, come on. I mean, they're not 7 seeds don't go far in the playoffs, you know, 9 times out of 10. Never say never these days. But anyways, those are my picks for the NFC and the AFC side of the playoffs.
Oh man, do I got a lot to dissect with you, Steven. Oh my gosh. For that Green Bay pick.
You kidding me?
Thank you, Mauro Ranallo, for that.
Mamma mia!
Mamma mia! All right. Let's go ahead and get mine.
Oh my God!
Let me get mine real quick. For the NFC West, definitely got to give it to LA. That's an easy one, kind of. That's just not saying the other teams in there don't have a fighting chance, but especially San Francisco was really showcased over the past couple of years what a complete team they are. But LA's just been on another level ever since they won the Super Bowl. It's going to be hard for them to be knocked off that top perch for the number 1 seed. Number 2, reluctantly, I got to go with Steven. I got to go Green Bay. As much as I am a homer for Chicago, as much of a Bears fan that I am, I'm not a fraud like certain people on another radio show. I gotta go with Green Bay. Green Bay is just an elite team. They got Aaron Rodgers back for at least one more season. It's gonna be hard pressed to beat Aaron, especially when he's at the top of his game. And he's got himself a newer team. Yes, it's gonna take time to build chemistry, but I still think out of that team, they're gonna be at the top of the division on that. Next on the list is a tough one. Very, very tough. This is going to be a hard one for me. Definitely got to go. Well, actually, not really. Tampa Bay. Come on. Tampa Bay stomps everybody else in that division. I'm sorry, but they're going to be number 3. And then number 4, in number 4, I know they've dealt with some injuries, and I'm going to shock everybody here. I'm going to go with the Commanders.
Whoa!
I think the Commanders have a fighting chance of really gaining some steam and really they're rebuilding this team. They've got some great parts to them. And I think they're really, really good, really going to shock a lot of people this season.
Wow. And I think originally, you went with Philadelphia to win the NFC East. I believe so, right? And then.
Yeah, I went with Philly, but I think that Philly, the one issue they have is just overall consistency is just not there. It doesn't matter the quarterback either, it seems like, because whether it be Nick Foles, whether it be Carson Wentz, they've always had issues with consistency and staying afloat when it counts the most.
And Jalen Hurts, I mean, he's a solid quarterback,
Yes.
to be there, but that's the key. That's why I don't feel good about picking Philadelphia at number 3, but they have key pieces now on the defensive side, that can really help them. And I mean, now that they got their star defensive player back, on the team, Fletcher Cox. I mean, Cox was a beast on that Super Bowl championship team from 2018. And I think Philadelphia can make some moves, but that's a very interesting, as far as moves in the regular season, as far as getting some good wins. But that's the problem. And I that's a very valued point, of you changing your pick and going with the Commanders, because the NFC East is so wide open. I mean, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, with the Commanders this year, because, man, like that's a shocker, but that's a good pick.
Yeah, I just went with that because I feel like that the Commanders, they're doing one of the teams that everybody is not looking at. And I feel like they're the one team that could shock everybody and have an excellent season this year and make some noise and even get into those top seeds. You never know. Anything's possible, like I always say. And this is one of those teams I think everybody's sleeping on. It's eventually going to bite them in the ass. So that's very, I think it's a very interesting point. I think Joey agrees with me that they've been sleeping on the Commanders ever since the whole name change, RG3 situation, all that stuff. Ever since then, everybody's been counting them out. But I think don't doubt any team, including a team like this. I think there's a possibility they could be contenders. Now, whether it be this season, next season, that's all going to be how this season plays out.
Right.
For me, my wild cards, I'm going to go with number 4. I'm going to go with Dallas, because I feel like that Dallas is
5th seed. Okay.
Yeah, as a 5th seed, I'm going to go with Dallas. Definitely if they can stay consistent, Dax and Ezekiel can stay healthy. I feel like this team could be a very dangerous team. It's up to them. It's up to them though. It's gonna be to see how everything goes. Number 6 or number 6. Come on, Chicago. I gotta go with Chicago. The reason why, and listen to this, is and I've seen this. Yes, it's preseason. Yes, but it's the advancement of Justin Fields. Fields and his seems like he's clicking very well with the offense that he has. It seems like he's clicking very well with certain targets. He's getting what he needs to. Yes, they barely scored 8 points in the first game before the third quarter, and he barely squeaked by in this past weekend's game. But you can tell there is some promise, and I feel like they can make some noise in the wild card. I really, really do. The Bears have really put a lot of effort into making this team the better team, one of the better teams in the NFC North and in the NFC in general. I could see that happening very much so. The Bears being that, and then final wild card spot, San Francisco, baby. Jimmy G back in the fold with Debo back under contract. George Kittle, like you said, Youssef. I think all these guys are going to be just incredible team that's really gonna take the NFC by storm if any of these teams let down their guard for one single second, especially when it comes to that wild card. You never know. San Francisco may be on top over both Chicago and Dallas. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But that's my NFC predictions. My AFC predictions are a little bit more cut and dry per se. As far as that goes, of course, my number one seed is a little bit easier. I got to go with well, that's actually is a little bit easier. I got to go with I'm going to go with the Chargers as the number one seed. Oh, actually not Chargers. Actually, wrong. I'm actually going to go with the Jets. No, wrong.
Dude, come on.
No. You
Jaguars.
Good try.
Actually, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
There
you go.
I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I think they're the team to beat in this AFC division because they played so consistently, so well throughout these. They've only missed the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. No pun intended for Megadeth fans. And I feel like that they really, I think this offseason, I think they did some key moves without sacrificing too many big players on their roster. And I feel like the quarterbacks, their quarterback is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Josh Allen. What a stud. And I feel like that he can really lead this team and really make some noise in this division. Number two, this is gonna be number two. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think
Okay.
as long as Justin Herbert can stay healthy and keep a consistent play, I feel like that this team could be the number 2 seed and they could be right up there to possibly get into the divisional round. Possibly.
And that's the problem with the Chargers is they have the right pieces to go far. It's just that they have to have the right coaching IQ, to get further than that. Because I mean, there were times last year where they looked like they were going to be the team coming out of the AFC, especially with their wins against the Kansas City Chiefs, 30-24. And then they had that big win against Cleveland in that shootout of a game. And there were times they were dominant, and then there were times they just threw up the biggest eggs when the games really mattered. If they didn't lose a couple of these games last year, especially that Week 15 game against Kansas City, because if they would have beat Kansas City in that game, they would have had a 2-game lead on the Chiefs, the tiebreaker, and that would have put them in prime position to win the AFC West last year. But as Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert have done for the Chargers, you can take San Diego out of the Chargers, but you can't take the Chargers out of San Diego because, as we all know, when they were the San Diego Chargers, Marty Schottenheimer, and Phillip Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson, all of the great Chargers that have played before this current regime of Chargers in Los Angeles, the Chargers always found ways to miss big games and also blew big games. And that's why, I noticed with the common theme with our picks as the number 2 and 3 slots on our picks so far with the Chargers is we don't feel good about it, because the Chargers on paper theoretically should be a top contending team because they had the offensive pieces, the defensive pieces to go far. They made some key moves in the offseason, but the biggest thing is which Chargers team are we going to get for the majority of this year? That is going to determine if the Chargers make it to the postseason.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. The next team on my list, and this is a pretty easy one. Number 3, taking that 3rd seed. Definitely Tennessee Titans. I gotta go with my boys.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta go with my boys in the Music City, baby. You know that if I had a secondary team, I've always said that secondary team would be Nashville's own Tennessee Titans. Deep connection to Nashville, deep connection to the city. So with that being said, Tennessee, like you said, Derrick Henry, enough said. If that guy's 100% healthy, ready to go, that team is going to be absolutely lethal in the running game. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
And if Ryan Tannehill can stay away from the turnovers, that right there could be a contributing factor to them being possibly maybe a 3rd seed.
Absolutely. I agree. Number four, I'm going to go with, I'm going to shock people again. Number 4, this is going to throw everything for a loop. The Raiders.
Wow.
Straight away from my picks this time because I want to definitely do something different. Also because I feel like the Raiders, like you said, Derek Carr. I think this will be the best year for Derek Carr because he's finally got the weapons he's looking for. He's finally got a team that's seasoned. He's got a team that he can trust to be there when he needs them to be there, and they trust him as a quarterback. If Derek Carr can stay, like I said, with every other quarterback on these fucking teams, consistent, healthy, playing great.
Well, I would honestly say, before we continue, I would honestly call the Vegas Raiders in your playoff bracket. They would be the first wild card team because you can't have 2 teams in the AFC West be the top 2 and 4. So they would be your first wild card team.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this right now: the Jets are not. Jets are not even in the wild card. They're barely underdog. No, but to be honest, I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
Wow. Okay, there's the shocker.
Baltimore. Yeah. Lamar Jackson, big question mark. Yes.
That's why I'm steering away from that pick and them being a divisional winner because we don't know which team
they're going to be the divisional winner, but they get eliminated the first round. So we'll go with that.
Exactly.
There you go. That's why. Cincinnati could be a contender. Pittsburgh's still in rebuilding mode, and Cleveland sucks. So
if only Deshaun Watson was the cover athlete for Madden 23, because the Madden curse will already be in full effect on his ass.
Yeah. There's gonna be 23 different versions.
Yes.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of that.
Vegas is number 5 for you.
Vegas is number 5. Yes, absolutely. I love it. Love Vegas. Derek Carr. I feel like that he's got everything he needs now, and I feel like this is a team that's going to be very much in the thick of things. Number 6, I'm going to stick kind of in your order, Steven. I'm going to go with Indy because I feel like with Carson Wentz, I feel like they could have some success.
They're actually, not to cut you off again, but he's actually on the Commanders.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Matt Ryan.
Who's the quarterback of the fucking Indianapolis Colts? Like anybody cares.
Matt Ryan.
Damn. Well, that's what I get for sleeping so late today. See what happens? Yeah. Thank you, glorious caffeine. But Matt Ryan, he brings one thing: veteran leadership. He brings to the fact he's been to the playoffs. He's been to the Super Bowl. He knows what that is. Does he know winning? Not if it's 28-3. But Matt Ryan's a seasoned quarterback. who knows what he's doing. And to me personally, I think that represents hope and faith in that franchise to really make noise like it did in the Peyton Manning days. Not saying it'll be to the exact level of success, but I'm saying this is the part where Indy can rebuild itself back to a glory that they once had. When you have an elite veteran quarterback like a Matt Ryan as the top person in your team who can not only steer the team, but even give the coaches advice on maybe some moves to make, not to the effect of where like LeBron was trying to tell people to trade this, trade that in basketball world, but to where you can say, hey, maybe this guy will work better in this offense. Hey, maybe this guy will work better in a slot. Maybe this guy will work better as a decoy on a run game. I think to me, that's what Matt Ryan brings to Indy. And I think that's why they're going to be in contention there. And then of course, Kansas City. I mean, yes, Kansas City's kind of on a rebuild in their offense because they did lose Tyreek Hill and Tyrann Mathieu, which is two big blows to that team. But Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league by far the past 5 years. He's an absolute beast of a quarterback, great thrower, guy can move. And I think he can help lead that team to some sense of victory this offseason. Will it be enough to get him into the thick of things in the playoffs? I doubt it. But I think that Kansas City can still hang in there even for just a little bit. And I think they can prove that, hey, we're not done yet. So those are my picks for both NFC and AFC. Let's go with Joey.
All right, so I'm going to flip the script a little bit. I'm going to go my AFC first and then NFC because I got a feeling.
If you put the Commanders at the top of your list, I'm going to smack the piss out of you, bro.
Hey, even though I am a Commanders fan,
yes,
I'm not that
I didn't pick Chicago for the number 1 seed.
I'm not that stupid. So yeah, I'm going to flip the script a little bit. I'm going to go AFC first and then NFC. So, my AFC, my number 1 is going to be an absolute no-brainer, and that's Buffalo, because Buffalo just has a whole bunch of talent on both sides of the ball. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Devin Singletary at running back, and on the defensive side of the ball, you got one of the best linebackers in the game in Von Miller on that roster now. You got possibly one of the greatest corners in the history of the NFL right now in Tre'Davious White.
When he's healthy, that dude is a beast, man.
Oh yeah, Tre'Davious White. That dude can lock down receivers faster than you can blink an eye. I mean, Tre'Davious White, the way he moves back there in the secondary reminds me of one of the greatest shutdown corners in the history of the NFL. And yes, I'm going to bring up a former New York Jet, but it's a great New York Jet. And the one, the only, Darrelle mother-freaking Revis.
Mm-hmm.
Darrelle Revis, when he was back there in the secondary for the Jets, it didn't matter if the Jets lost every game or won every game. Darrelle Revis was going to make his presence known. And that's what I'm seeing in Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White is an absolute shutdown corner who can shut down even the best of receivers. Number 2, I'm going to go with the runner-ups from last year, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going with them number 2 because Cincinnati, everybody knew that they were going to have to get better on the offensive line going into this offseason. And that is what Cincinnati did. They beefed up on that offensive line. They were able to get some big names signed to that offensive line to help protect Joe Burrow. So now I feel like all the pieces are in place for Cincinnati to make a truly special, unbelievable playoff run, which could possibly lead to a Super Bowl title for them this year. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying it might, because you never know what could happen come playoff time.
And you never know also, Joey, you never know that maybe, just maybe, the road to the Super Bowl might be on the Cincinnati.
That's right. That is exactly right. You never know what to expect come playoff time. Number 3. Oh man, this is a tough one, but I am going to go with Tennessee. I'm going with Tennessee at number 3 because, of course, the true workhorse running back himself, who's going to be itching and fighting for every single carry he has, and he's going to prove that injury last season is not going to happen again. Yes, I'm talking about the king, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs in the league. He's got the talent to guide the offense all by himself. And the way that Tennessee was just, especially the defense, was able to get at quarterbacks last year in the regular season and the playoffs when they were able to get to Joe Burrow 9 times.
9.
Yeah, 9 times. That Tennessee defense can be deadly. So I'm going with Tennessee, number 3. Number 4. I'm actually changing my AFC West pick here. Number 4, I have to do it because he is Patrick Mahomes. I'm going Kansas City. I'm going Kansas City, number 4, because, like Ezra said, Mahomes is Mahomes. Whether he's got Tyreek Hill or not, or whether he's got a TikTok dancer as his number 1 receiver or not, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. He's still going to find a way to get the job done. Now, as far as getting far in the playoffs, maybe not. But you can never count out Patrick Mahomes. You can definitely never count out the head coach, Andy Reid, because, I mean, look how many years of playoff experience Andy Reid has under his belt. You can never count him out. Never. The wild card. This is where it's going to get interesting. Number 5. I'm going to say the Chargers. I'm saying the Chargers, number 5, because I believe it's gonna come down to a dogfight between the Chiefs and the Chargers in the AFC West, and the Raiders are not going to be that far behind. Are not going to be that far behind because of how talented they are. But it's going to come down to a dogfight between the Chiefs and the Chargers. And as good of a quarterback as Justin Herbert is, sometimes he can be a little inaccurate. And I think that's going to come back to bite him. So that's why I think the Chargers are going to be at number 5. Number 6. Oh, man. Oh, man. Ooh. Number 6, I'm gonna go with Indianapolis. I'm going Indy for number 6 because Matt Ryan is now the quarterback for Indianapolis, and even though Matt Ryan appeared to be washed up when he was in Atlanta, I still think Matt Ryan has at least 1, maybe 2 good years left in him. And now that he's in a whole new atmosphere, learning a whole new playbook, maybe that could help Matt Ryan get back to his star status that he once had when he was in Atlanta. And number 7. Oh, number 7. This is literally going to be a dogfight between 2 teams. But for number 7, I'm going to give the edge to, and Randy, this is for you, buddy, the Raiders.
Wow. 3 AFC teams in the West.
I'm giving the edge to the Raiders over the Ravens because, yes, the Ravens have Lamar Jackson at quarterback. They have the best kicker in the entire NFL in Justin Tucker.
In Tucker, we trust, baby.
You got a proven head coach in John Harbaugh.
Yep.
But that's pretty much where the good parts end, because the Ravens, they have some inconsistency whether people see it or not. Because keep in mind, the Ravens have not had a running back go play a full season and I don't know how long. And now the fact that the Ravens have 3 high-profile running backs on their roster, with J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and Mike Davis on their roster. You never know who could struggle and who can rise to glory. And the receivers on Baltimore's side of the ball, whenever they lost Hollywood Brown, that was pretty much the end of the receiver core for Baltimore, because Hollywood Brown, even though he wasn't used very prolific last year, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that Hollywood Brown was the Ravens' #1 guy last year as far as receiver goes. Now, obviously, the true #1 wideout was, of course, tight end Mark Andrews, but Las Vegas, they have enough talent on both sides of the ball to be considered a threat, not to win the AFC West, but at least a spot to make the playoffs. Because Derek Carr, he's only going to get better as the years come and go. He's only going to get better because he has that consistency level with him. And now that he has a true #1 wide receiver by his side, which also happens to be his college teammate in Devontae Adams, and knowing that he also has Darren Waller to throw to, that and what Oakland has on the defensive side of the ball makes me think that the Raiders are going to barely, and yes, I'm saying barely, edge out the Ravens for that last wild card spot in the AFC.
Just like I'm picking Joey. Before you continue, and we go to Randy, that's like with me with the AFC. That's why I'm picking the Colts to barely edge up the Ravens, because we know that the Ravens have some weaponry to get it done. It's just that they don't have the consistent factor to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. So now on to the NFC. My #1 seed is, of course, going to be a no-brainer. That is the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Sir.
That's Steven's pick for real.
I had to say it. I had to see what you guys would say.
Oh, I know why you said that, Joey. That's because you obviously think that the Carolina Panthers are my secret favorite second team in the National Football League. I ought to rip your head off when you said that to me last week. I'm telling you.
Hey,
I thought you were.
Joey.
Are you kidding me?
I thought maybe that Joey was
Hey.
doing Kevin's picks for
You know what you need to
Wait,
Fine.
Joey, did you get access to Kevin's picks?
You did, yeah. That's why I said Carolina first. That's Kevin's pick for #1.
So what you're saying, Joey, is
Actually, no. The Panthers were actually Kevin's #2 seed,
sir.
and Kevin's #1 seed was I gotta say it. Kevin's
That was
#1 seed.
Cowboys.
The
No,
Cowboys.
his #1 seed is the Seattle Sea Chickens.
Hey, that was coming.
That's
Hey.
it.
Also, you know what you need to do with that opinion?
Take it back.
Yeah, but I had to show some love for Steven's true favorite team, because we all know Steven likes the Panthers.
Yes, he does. 100%.
I could end it
Bravo.
right now. I could end it right now, but we're not. Just because I think I might like you, maybe. Just maybe.
But no.
Yeah, we know Steven with you. That's also debatable.
Oh wow!
All right,
Anyway,
so
Joey.
now that the funny part is out of the way, time to get serious. My
can be serious for a
#1
minute.
true seed in the NFC is gonna be, gosh, You know what? It's hard to count up the team who just won the Super Bowl last year. So give me the Rams number one. The Rams are my number one because even though they did lose some talent due to retirements and people moving on in free agency in the offseason, I still think the Rams have enough talent on both sides of the ball, especially when you have a true offensive studs in Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Allen Robinson, along with Cam Akers, who hopefully will be healthy enough to play this whole season after missing most of last season.
And won't fumble the damn ball. Oh,
exactly.
His fumbling,
Exactly,
his
because
fumbleitis was bad last year.
Sure was.
because Darrell Henderson, yeah, he was a good running back, but he just doesn't have the potential that Cam Akers does. So, and of course, you cannot count out the man who pretty much single-handedly gave the Rams that Super Bowl last year with that stop on 4th and 1, even though he was a little offside, but I digress. Aaron Donald. You can't doubt the fact that Aaron Donald is a true mastermind when it comes to defenses. So Aaron Donald is going to do enough to guide the Rams to a number 1 seed. It's going to be close, but the Rams are going to be my number 1. Number 2. Now here is where I'm going to here's where I might fluff some feathers a little bit. Number 2 is going to be the team that I feel really really had an upgrade in the offseason because of the fact that this team has great talent on the offensive side of the ball. And I wouldn't say a legitimately stout defense, but this is a better defense than the team who has pretty much ruled the conference over the past number of years. So I don't know if you guys know where I'm getting at, but my number 2 pick is going to be, or my number 2 seed is going to be Minnesota.
Wow.
I'm going
Holy
Minnesota.
shit.
I'm going Minnesota number 2. No, actually, no, scratch that. Minnesota's going to be my number 3. Tampa Bay is going to be my number 2 because, I mean, think about it. Tom Brady is back at quarterback. It's his decision to lose. And Randy, I know you can't stand the guy, but you cannot count what he has done in his NFL career.
He cheated in the NFC and the AFC. That's cool. Go for it though, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got a point there, but the fact that Tampa Bay has not only Tom Brady, but they also have Leonard Fournette in at running back. You got 3 amazing wide receivers in Mike Evans, Julio Jones, and Chris Godwin. You got Cameron Brate, who at tight end is trying to make a name for himself. And you got the offensive side, the offensive line, who can do just as good, if not better, than most people are thinking. And of course, you got a truly stout defense that can actually make a splash whenever they want to. So now, number 3, Minnesota. I'm going Minnesota number 3 because of the fact that they have such talent on the offensive side of the ball with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, a two workhorse threat at running back in the NFC, along with Adam Thielen. And yes, I'm saying Adam Thielen because even though he has been hit with the injury bug over the past number of years, Adam Thielen can still be a big-time threat if he wants to be. And
when he's healthy as well.
And of course, you cannot count out Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is definitely the number 1 receiver of that Vikings receiver core. And the fact that the Vikings have just enough on defense to try to supplant Aaron Rodgers, since Aaron Rodgers lost a lot of playmakers in the offseason, it's not really going to surprise me if Minnesota supplants Green Bay and gets into the playoffs with a good seed. So
I like
now
that
my
pick.
number
I like that pick, Joey. I like that.
so now number 4. And yes, I'm gonna make another change to one of my conference predictions. I liked what Ezra said about the Commanders, my Commanders. So I'm putting them at number 4.
Wow.
I think the Commanders have a chance to really make a splash and become a threat. I would say not this year, but give the Commanders a couple more years down the line. Give us a chance to get some really good talent on our roster, and we can actually be a true threat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, we're going to be without Chase Young for the majority of the first half of the season, but
That's going to be critical.
yeah, but the Commanders, they still have enough on defense and they have enough on offense
Mm-hmm.
to be a true threat. Because now, whenever we were talking about the NFC East last week, I was saying that the Commanders, Terry McLaurin, the general, he finally has his contract. He has his contract that he has been wanting for, that he has earned and deserved over
Right.
the past number of years. And now that he's finally got it, he can actually
Mhm.
go out and put up even more impressive numbers than what he has already put up to this point in his NFL career. And yeah, I know Carson Wentz is not the best quarterback, but at the same time, Carson Wentz can be seen as a little bit of an upgrade as compared to the quarterbacks that have played for Washington over the years. So I consider him an upgrade over Taylor Heineke, because even though Heineke had a decent year last season, Carson Wentz still put up better numbers than him. So I see Carson Wentz as a little bit of an upgrade. So I
The
think
biggest
that
issue, Joey, and I understand where you're going with that pick. The biggest thing with Washington this year is the offensive line. Can they block for
yes,
Wentz? Can Wentz stay upright? Can he stay healthy when he gets in a bad predicament as far as throwing interceptions? Can Carson rebound? Because he's been known a time or two to fold under pressure when the moment is too big for him in a big spot.
you got a point. You make a great point there, Stephen, because every Washington fan who followed the Carson Wentz signing can think back to week 17 or week 18 of the NFL season last year, when the Indianapolis Colts, who were led by none other than Carson Wentz,
Yep.
went out there and looked like absolute duds, losing to Jacksonville.
How the hell do you
co-
lose to the Jacksonville
thus-
Jaguars?
It thus costing Indianapolis a chance to go to the playoffs.
Jacksonville Jaguars. There you go.
You just do it.
But yeah, I think the Commanders, along with and even though he came back, I hope we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but due to the presence that Brian Robinson has made after going through what he went through, the fact that he is already back at that training facility, even though he's on crutches, the fact that he is already back just shows how much heart he has when it comes to playing NFL football. So I think that this season is going to be dedicated to him. Hopefully we'll see him come back, and hopefully we'll have Chase Young back before too long. And I think the Commanders have what it takes to win the NFC East this year. Number five is going to be the team that is going to be the biggest threat to the Rams in the NFC West. Yes, I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers. It's going to be a close race in the NFC West between the Rams and the Niners, but the Rams are ultimately going to pull it out, but the 49ers are not going to be that far behind because of the fact that Jimmy G now has another year to teach Trey Lance about how to be a legitimate dual threat average quarterback. Even though Jimmy G wasn't much of a dual threat, he can learn that from all the other offensive coaches. But The fact that Trey Lance now has another year to learn from Jimmy G. The fact that he's got Debo Samuel to throw to, the fact he's got Ayuk over there on the other side of the receivers core, along with George Kittle and the running back and the fullback that the 49ers have that can catch passes whenever they need to. It's making San Francisco seem like a true threat. So it would not surprise me if San Francisco can make a splash in the NFC West. And of course, on the defensive side of the ball, you got one of the best defensive ends in the league on that team in Nick Bosa, and I would say two of the best linebackers in the NFL right now in Freddie Warner and Dre Greenlaw. I mean, those guys can shut down the run game and they can shut down the QB's passing game if they could just get to that backfield and show them what they're truly made of. Number 6, I'm going to go with the team that is going to barely finish behind Washington in the NFC East, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia, the only reason I am changing my pick from Washington to Philly is because even though Philly has some great talent on both sides of the ball, especially on the defensive side of the ball, when they were able to get the two big guys out of Georgia, Kobe Dean and Jordan Davis, I still think this team is going to need at least a year, maybe 2, to fully prove themselves that they have a legitimate chance to compete in the NFC. And the only reason I'm saying maybe 2 years is because even though I know that Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, he hasn't done much since he got drafted to the pros a couple years ago. And I think this will be a chance to have Jalen Hurts really redeem himself, especially now that he's got someone else to throw the ball to along with Devontae Smith, and that's, of course, A.J. Brown, who came over from Tennessee in night 1 of the NFL draft. So the Eagles, they have talent on both sides of the ball. I can't deny that. But I think I still think Philly's going to need about a year or 2 to really push themselves. And number 7, yes, I cannot believe I'm putting him this far down in the playoffs, but the fact that they have such a horrendous offseason with the fact that they lost playmakers on both sides of the ball makes me think that this team is not going to go far in the playoffs at all. Of course, not like they do anyway. But yes, I'm talking about the Green Bay Packers. They're going to be my number 7.
Wow.
The reason I'm taking them down this far is because, yes, they have 2 great running backs on that roster in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, but Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to have the targets this year that he had last year, especially with the fact that Devontae Adams is no longer rocking the green and gold of Green Bay. He's now rocking the silver and black in Las Vegas. And the fact that his number 2 receiver, MVS, is now in Kansas City. I mean,
Yep.
Green Bay lost a lot of offensive, well,
They
not really
lost
offensive, but
they
just
lost 2 significant weapons on that offensive end.
but just wide receiver playmaking ability in Adams and Scantling. The Packers, they could probably become a threat if they want to, but I'm just not seeing it happen this year. So I still think it's going to be a wide margin between the Packers and the team who's going to miss out on the playoffs. But in the end, it's going to be Green Bay at number 7. So those are my picks 1 through 7 for both conferences.
Let me ask you this, Joe, before we go to Randy's picks. Who do you have Green Bay barely edging out in the NFC?
I have Green Bay barely edging out Arizona.
Ooh.
I
Same
had
as
them
me
barely
as far as
edging
the
out.
Vikings beating out the Cardinals.
I'm having them barely edging out Arizona because yes, DeAndre Hopkins is suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season, but when he comes back, you can expect him to be a deep threat, a deep playmaking threat that can catch passes from any direction. And I'm going to rejoice saying this because Dallas is not even going to come close to the playoffs this year because Mike McCarthy has proven that he is not the coach in Dallas that Jerry Jones thought he was. As a matter of fact, Jerry Jones, he's so old, he could just fall down a well for all I care. But I digress. But Dak Prescott is not the answer at quarterback. He never has, never will be. And Ezekiel Elliott, you might as well pack your bags and get your butt out of Dallas now because you are not the running back that you thought you were. I'll admit you had a great first year, but ever since then, you thinking that you're this big time stud that is in the pros, but you turn out to be nothing but a freaking dud. And that's all you're ever gonna be from this point on. And CeeDee Lamb, don't even get me started with him. He drops passes faster than I don't even know how to compare that. And plus the fact that Trevon Diggs, even though he's a Bama boy, the fact that Trevon Diggs got burned so much last year, even though he led the league with 11 interceptions, I guarantee you half of those were lucky because they bounced off other receivers' hands and then Trevon Diggs was just able to be in the right place at the right time. But Dallas, y'all ain't going nowhere into the playoffs this year, so just suck it up and just move on to the fact that y'all suck. Y'all always gonna suck and y'all always will suck. That's simple.
Tony, Neil, all right, we're sorry to hear that from Joey, but those are his opinions and those are not our opinions as far as like, well, we still think they suck, but we still haven't made the playoffs barely. But anyways,
I mean, come on, Dallas is the only team in NFL history that can run a quarterback draw on a 4th and 13 when they're down 6 and get
13 seconds
slide down in field with 13 seconds left, no timeouts, down by 6 in a home playoff game. No other NFL team can do that.
You can't make it up.
Not even the Jets or the Lions. So that was just horrible play calling, horrible team all around. And I'm sorry to the Dallas fans out there, but you guys know I'm right. Just saying.
We're right, you're wrong. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's
Randy?
right.
You're up, buddy.
All right, let's see here. Okay, so first, I'm gonna go NFC first. I got the Rams possibly as the number 1 seed, but if Matthew Stafford is not healthy, this all of our picks are going to be null and void because they won't be half the team they were if he doesn't play.
Yeah.
So I got the Rams first, and I'm gonna have to disagree with a couple of you. Still Aaron Rodgers, NFC to lose. He's there. He'll make do with whoever he's got. I mean, he loses receivers all the time and makes other guys good, even if he is yelling at them. Until doing that, maybe that'll put a fire under some of those guys. And then let's see here. I think Philadelphia is going to be the 3rd seed. I think Philadelphia made great strides.
Okay.
They even got a good player today on defense, if I remember correctly. So they've made so many moves.
Correct. Yes.
To get better, and they were the number 1 rushing attack last year, and now they're number 1 defense. So, man, they're making every right move, and we'll see what happens.
We know you're picking Tampa Bay. Come on, we know you are.
The Devil Rays, they're a baseball team, right? Aren't they? They're the Rays, right?
Sir.
I don't even
Sir.
know. I'm not even picking them.
Sir.
So fourth is
Don't
going to
you
be
do it.
New Orleans.
Okay.
Orleans.
I can tolerate that, Randy, because you didn't pick the Carolina Panthers or the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, thank God.
No.
Hey, come
I'll
on,
make that. I'll let that slide.
Okay.
Steven. We know you were gonna pick the Panthers in the playoffs.
No,
Hey,
no,
no.
Wait.
No.
And we'll see
Hey,
you
no.
next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Steven, come on, just admit it right now. You were gonna pick the Panthers to win the Super Bowl over the New York Jets. Come on.
No, absolutely not. Not a chance in hell. No. That would not be a Super Bowl. That would be the biggest shit bowl of all time. If the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets played the Super Bowl, oh, dude, I would be asleep at halftime. That's how boring. That you thought the Super Bowl between the Rams and the Patriots was boring as crap when that game had no touchdowns in the first half of that game. Good Lord. There'll be barely any field goals kicked in that game. The final score will be 9-6. Lowest scoring Super Bowl ever.
Hang on.
But
If
we
the Panthers are- if the-
we regret to inform you that as of next week, next week, Joseph Thornton will no longer be a part of the show. We wish him the best.
Yeah. In the future endeavors.
Come on.
Dude, you
But
just
anyway.
got future endeavored more than Aaliyah did before she won the tag titles.
Damn.
Hey, but I will say though, I will have you beat there, Steven, because if the Panthers and Jets ever make it to a Super Bowl, I would be asleep before the opening kickoff.
Yeah.
But anyways, Randy, back to
Anyways,
you.
Randy, continue. Thank God you picked the Saints over the Panthers and the Falcons. Okay. We'll tolerate that.
so-
Okay. Next.
I got the San Francisco Giants. I mean 49ers. It will be
strike two.
It's going to be either the Rams. Well, the Rams. If they falter, who knows? They won't be the number one seed. But yeah, the 49ers will be a fifth, and the Cowgirls. I got to pick them. Their season, they still got some playmakers, and then my seventh is the Bears, just for Ezra. I think Justin Fields is going to do it, and
You're my favorite member of this crew, Randy.
yeah, I know. I figured so. That would be the case. But I too think Justin Fields' play is just only going to get better, and hopefully he has a coach that wants to actually help him. So that's definitely going to help him out. So that's my NFC. And you know that there's no one team's not in there. I'm not sure of this team you guys talk about. I don't even know who they are. But so my AFC is this. Buffalo, of course, going to run away with it, no matter what. I mean, not even close. And my number 2 seed is going to be the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to be my number 2 seed. I think they're going to do great this season. Then the Titans are my 3rd seed. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, and that's how that's going to go.
Yep.
And then the next one is a toss-up because it's just I can't really say for sure. Either going to be the Chargers or the Raiders, and be the 4th seed. You can say they're the 4th and the 5th. That's exactly it. One of those two flip-flopped, or however you got it. That's how I'm seeing that. I can't pick the Raiders. I'd love to say they just run the table and nobody even come close, but I can never do that. And then so that's 4th and 5th. I got Baltimore is going to be one of my wild cards.
Okay.
Miami. Miami Dolphins.
Oh, first time with Miami on
I
there.
think they're going to
Okay.
make a splash. Nobody's really talked about them. Really revamped their offense, of course. And the last one is going to be the Colts, Indianapolis Colts. With Matt
Ooh.
Ryan and all that, I think they're going to make it to where they're going to get in. So those are my picks. I think we've everybody's done all the good analysis on it. But yeah, I went with a couple other teams that really weren't kind of brought up, and I think have a chance really doing something. And of course, it all depends on if Harbaugh lets Justin Tucker kick this time, and whether or not they win any games or not. So, and that's all, my friend. That's all I got.
All right.
Oh my word.
Thank you, Randy, for the picks. Sorry about that. I had to take care of some business, but I am here.
Okay.
All right. Real quick, there was a great pick, first of all, from everybody. Thank you guys for your picks. That was awesome. Great segment as always. I love doing this stuff with you guys.
And Kevin will give his picks next week when he's on the show with us.
Absolutely. Real quick though, I do want to get into one thing, and it's not even sports related. It is an announcement that AEW just put out at 6:55 p.m. Eastern time, and that is that for 0 hour, which is of course going to be the pre-show buy-in. Basically, it is going to be Eddie Kingston getting back into in-ring action, but it's not against Sammy Guevara. It's against New Japan's Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh!
Those two faced off at Capital Collision, which was a New Japan event. I believe Eddie won that one, so now Ishii's looking to get back at Mr. Kingston and gain that victory. So that'll be a good match.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a hoss fight. Oh God, that's gonna be good.
I expect nothing more, nothing less, man, from the Stone Pitbull, to be honest.
Right.
Real quick before we move on to some other topics, John Gruden has put out a statement saying that that his emails were shameful, obviously, but he still hopes to get another shot in the NFL.
Well,
We'll see how that goes.
yeah.
He may get another shot in the NFL, but there's one thing he won't get a shot at when he was deemed himself one of the 50th, what was it, like the 50th most sexiest people on earth back when he was with the Buccaneers back in the day. So he might get a shot. We'll see.
Yeah. Today, for the first time since he was shot during a carjacking / robbery, Brian Robinson, the rookie for the Commanders, returned to the practice facility. He was on crutches, and of course his leg wrapped up after being shot twice in the leg in an attempted carjacking.
Man.
His recovery, they said they're optimistic, according to Ron Rivera, but it's a fluid situation. Team officials will talk to doctors to get a further update on his status and how long he'll be out for. So continued prayers and all the best to all the best to Brian Robinson as he recovers.
Absolutely, yes.
Unfortunate incident that should have never happened.
Definitely.
I think in other big news, I think in the world of the NFL, I think that's it. Sam Darnold is currently dealing with a high ankle sprain right now.
It's off to a bad start for Carolina already.
Yep.
So that means Steven's got to put his Darnold jersey up for a little while.
Oh, dear God, you guys with this Panthers bullshit.
Hey, I'm not the one who said it. I'm staying out of the line of fire on this one.
Hey, just wait.
Joey, we're going to have to start our own podcast. We're about to get kicked off this one.
hey, it's all right. It's all right. Just wait. Wait till next week when Steven picks the Panthers to win 45-0 over the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
you know what?
Yeah.
No, we'll say that next week for the picks. We'll save it for the picks.
Oh yeah, forgot next week
Ah,
we do our official first games of the NFL's regular season, right, Steve-O?
yes, we do next week, baby. Oh,
I cannot wait. I love doing those picks, man. Those things.
oh, those pick segments are so much fun. I mean, like
we truly get to see how wrong we are.
exactly, because there's been times where I'm like, man, I think this team's gonna win, and then they get their asses whooped and they lay a huge egg. Like, really? What? How does that even happen? You know what I mean? I mean, there's,
You know, just like Steven with the
Hey.
Panthers, being wrong is he was wrong.
Hey.
He doesn't want to be right. You know.
oh, believe me, Randy, just like how you are with your love-hate relationship with Tom Brady, because you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Tom Brady is right, you're wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I hope Aaron Rodgers gets his bitch ass concussed in the first play.
Hey,
Just
co- hey,
But
hey,
it's gonna be fun next week with when we start our picks segment.
oh yeah, but Steven, serious, you know I love you, man.
Oh yeah. You too, Randy.
Yeah.
Um,
I did until you made that comment just now. So yeah, whatever. Ah,
Real quick, two other quick news notes. Is that legendary quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, Len Dawson, passed away last Monday at the age of 80.
Yep.
At the age of 87.
Yep.
Definitely sending prayers to his family and all that.
Yep.
On that front, 87 years old, great quarterback back in the day for them.
Part of that winning Super Bowl 4
Absolutely.
and the first Super Bowl against Green Bay.
And also, real quick, former Seattle Seahawks linebacker Shaquem Griffin has announced his retirement from the NFL after only playing 3 seasons.
Ooh.
He's of course dealing with a guy who was dealt with at the age of 4 and an amniotic band syndrome, a congenital condition that causes his hand to be amputated at the age of 4 years old. But he says it's time for him to move on to Plan A, as he calls it. So all the best to Shaquem Griffin on his retirement.
Yep.
Definitely. What was that, Randy? Do you have something to say?
That's awesome. He was an inspiration. As good luck to him, and he was a class act for sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. Unrelated to the NFL, I want to get into this news note that came down. Jake Paul has his next fight.
Oh God.
And his next fight is not a retired, old, broken down boxer.
Okay.
His fight is against one of the most legendary fighters in the entire UFC's history.
Okay.
A former UFC middleweight champion.
Okay.
A former light heavyweight contender, and one of the best pound per pound fighters to ever step in the octagon.
Okay.
Anderson the Spider Silva.
I hope Silva kicks his head off. Oh my! Oh, that would be glorious. Come on.
Oh,
Knock him out.
Anderson the Spider Silva will take on Jake Paul in a exhibition boxing match. Date to be determined. But that fight will happen, folks. Yep, and hopefully Anderson Silva just kicks his head into the 5th row.
And then maybe he'll have a spider in
he
his
can't
mouth.
do that because it's a boxing match. But I wish he would just do it for the hell of it for our entertainment.
And then maybe after he gets through knocking his head out, maybe he'll have a spider in his mouth and a cockroach in his hand.
Beat his A. God bless.
Was that a Fozzie reference?
Yes, it was, good sir.
Spider in my mouth, by the way, off of Sin and Bones. Get it right.
Yes. Yes. And the cockroach in my head.
Definitely on that front. Let's see, real quick. In the world of the NBA, as you know, NBA has been kind of
real quick before you go on. We also can't be remiss if we brought this up from last week when the Rams and the Bengals got into an all-out brawl.
That's right. Week. Yes.
Oh man.
Right. I forgot about that video. Yes.
That was nuts. Absolutely.
I hope that's what happens to Jake Paul. I hope that's what Anderson Silva does to Jake Paul. Hits him with a helmet in the face.
Yes.
Yeah, so we definitely can't forget about that. But also, as we move on, we're going to move on to a little bit of NBA news, and that is Markieff Morris has left the Miami Heat and is now going to the Brooklyn Nets.
Ooh, all right.
Yep, Markieff. Yep. This will be a 1-year deal.
Finally, Brooklyn did something decent.
This will be a 1-year deal for Markieff Morris, so he'll get his shot to play alongside the thing that is Kevin Durant.
Drama queen, Kevin Durant.
Also, RJ Barrett is finalizing his contract extension with the New York Knicks. It's going to be 9 figures, according to this. 9 figures.
Nine.
Whoa.
Definitely. And in a revealing interview with NBA, John Wall said that during the pandemic, he lost his mother and grandmother during the COVID-19 pandemic, and also the injury struggles that plagued him. He had actually considered committing suicide.
Oh wow.
Wow.
John Wall being very candid about his mental state and his feelings during the pandemic. Losing 2 family members and also thinking about taking his own life in the process. So definitely very, 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 very revealing from John Wall there on that front. It affects everybody. So definitely, glad he shared it with everybody because there's a lot of people who can relate. Over to Major Leagues real quick. Major League Baseball. Tony La Russa was out of today's game against the Royals because of an unspecified medical issue.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully nothing too serious for Mr. La Russa, and he can get back on
Yep.
where he belongs. The Dodgers will get back Clayton Kershaw. He's not pitched since August 4th due to lower back pain. He will be coming back on Thursday against the New York Mets.
That'd be a huge game.
Nice.
That'd be a huge game.
Yes. The Nationals have placed rookie right-hander Cade Cavalli on the IL with the shoulder inflammation. And then one more quick thing. Real quick, the New York Mets, Carlos Carrasco may return by the end of the week after throwing a simulated game. So the Mets getting back another weapon to their already impressive arsenal. You know what? Quick look at the standings real quick, of course.
Hang on, Ezra, real quick. There's one big piece of news that you're forgetting about, and that is the fact that the Braves are getting closer to getting second baseman Ozzie Albies back because he is playing in a simulated game this Thursday. So he's itching closer to making his comeback from a broken foot. So I cannot wait to see him back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be awesome for your Braves to get back one of their key players on that front. To the American League, we look at that. Houston at the top right now, 4 games ahead of the New York Yankees. Wow, the Yankees up top. Quickly, the top 5: Houston, New York, Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Toronto.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
those are your top 5 there, with Chicago in 9th place at this point right now. But it's very hotly contested between positions 3, and it looks like 7 maybe, or 8. Each one is either a half game or a full game back on each one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Orioles, I believe, are seed number 8, and they're 2 games out of the last wild card spot.
No, they're actually seed number 7.
The Orioles are?
Yeah, they're currently number 7. They're number 7 in the American League.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It
they're
must be
ahead
based on record then and not by division.
I'm looking at league right now. I'm looking at the league right now.
Ah,
I'm
okay,
looking at AL. I'm looking at AL and NL, not by division. I'm looking by the entire league right now because I don't want to get
Gotcha.
specific in the divisions with the time we have left.
Gotcha.
So that's the case right now. Yeah, but as far as the league goes, yeah, Baltimore is in 7, right behind Cleveland. Minnesota's behind them, and then Chicago. So, in the National League, the Dodgers are leading right now, 8 games ahead of the New York Mets, with the Braves only 3 games behind them. And then St. Louis 4 games behind them, and then Philly 4 games behind, or 3 games behind St. Louis. But on Philly's heels is the Padres with only a game and a half back. So, and then Milwaukee, San Fran, and it goes down the list from there. But especially that AL section, that 3 through 7 spot is going to flip flop a lot over these next few games. It seems could possibly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We only get game to a half a game between each team. Yeah, it's going to be hotly contested. Real quick, anybody else got anything before we close out the show today?
Man, I'm so excited for this weekend because, well, for one, you're gonna be in Chicago this weekend for AEW's events, especially for Rampage and AEW Fan Fest, and possibly going to GCW this Saturday, and also the big pay-per-view AEW All Out in Chicago. I mean, it's going to be an incredible weekend of wrestling, and also WWE has Clash at the Castle this Saturday.
Yep, we cannot
4
forget
p.m.
about that.
Eastern. Yep. And I will be on the Nation's Corner this Saturday with Mongrovian Mike, Tony Justice, and the great and powerful Dabhausen. Very nice, very evil at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Cool.
Definitely, it's going to be an awesome weekend, man. I cannot wait to be a part of it. I'm going to be at Fan Fest, of course, as well. Busted Open will be hosting a show. They just announced the time, 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156. There will be a live show with all different sorts of guests, all different sorts of craziness. You know how last year went with Thunder Rosa showing up at the panel during her epic feud with La Greca. So Mark Henry and Dave will be in attendance. It should be awesome. Can't wait to be there. Repping the Nation's Corner, which of course, like you said,
Shout out to Scotty with those shirts, man.
Absolutely. I get mine tomorrow. Cannot wait to see it when it gets in the mail. I'm excited to wear
Scott's
it.
the man. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
shout out to Scotty in Long Island, the creator of the La Greca Fathead.
Nice.
and all of its glory.
And of course, not to mention that, yes, even though we saw a few games last week, this upcoming Saturday finally starts week 1, the true week 1 of the college football season.
Mhm.
So yes, I'm ready to watch some college ball, and I'm ready to watch my Bama boys pick up where we left off. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to see them.
It is so exciting to be a sports fan. I mean, with the NFL starting officially next week on next Thursday with the Rams and the Bills. And obviously next Tuesday, Kevin will give his playoff predictions for the NFC and the AFC. And of course, later on in next week's show will be the start of our world famous NFL pick segment.
Yes, I've been looking forward to that all year long. All year long.
It's gonna be awesome, guys. I cannot wait for that. It's gonna be a great weekend. Final thoughts from everybody. First off, Randy, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, what's going on? Just of course, good analysis by everyone, and as always, thanks for letting me come on this show, even though we've told Steven's secret. But I digress. Good analysis, and I'm sure next week Kevin's picks. I'm sure he'll be picking Carolina too. But
thank God you didn't pick them.
Ouch.
I would never. And this weekend's going to be good. College football, the Clash at the Castle, All Out, Worlds Collide.
That's
NXT.
more fun.
Man, it's gonna be nothing but
And also,
great wrestling weekend and
Yes.
and all that and college football and like I said and it's starting to ramp up where you know if you snooze you lose on some games you're gonna miss out. So, but it's just a good time and as always, thanks for letting me be on here. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Real quick, we also want to mention that also that day will also be the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert live from Wembley Stadium in London, featuring some amazing talent, including members of Rush and members of all sorts of bands, including Chevy Metal Taylor Hawkins tribute group. There's going to be a lot of different things going on, so check it out. It's going to be on Paramount Plus, YouTube. You can check it out on there when it premieres live. Check the website foofighters.com for more information on times, as it will be coming from the UK. So expect a 5 to 6 hour delay in time. So
it's really cool what they're doing. The fact that they're streaming this live for everybody across the world, for those that can't make the trip to the United Kingdom to be there in person, but you can still be there to experience the show and the tribute to one of the greatest modern drummers that ever lived. I mean, Taylor Hawkins, he was a powerhouse. He hit hard, he played hard, and he sang, he sang as well. Just an incredible, just an incredible musician. He played with Alanis Morissette and the Foo Fighters and his side project with the guys from Jane's Addiction. Just hell of a musician, hell of a drummer, hell of a guy. And my buddy Scott actually knew Taylor and in California when he used to live up there. And just really cool, that Taylor's music and it's touched so many people from all across the world, and it still sucks, man, all these months later, the fact that he's gone, in such a young age, and just an incredible drummer, man. Hell of a guy.
absolutely. Taylor was a one-of-a-kind guy who had a one-of-a-kind sound. He'll be missed, but they're gonna tribute him right with these two shows this weekend in Wembley Stadium, and then again at the Kia Forum a couple weeks later after that.
On the 27th in Los Angeles, yes.
Yeah, in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, Wolfgang's going to be there. Lars from Metallica's going to be there. Just a whole cast of musicians. Chris from Nirvana is going to be there. Just an all-star cast of musicians to pay their respects to the late great Taylor Hawkins. Rest in peace, man.
Absolutely. Joey, you know the drill. Final thoughts, my brother.
Amazing show with you guys. Hate that I had to be just a little bit late. Have some business to take care of, but great analysis, great playoff picks. I'm looking forward to our pick segment starting back up again next week. It's going to be truly entertaining and truly hilarious to see how wrong we all are actually going to be and how right we're actually going to be.
Because sometimes we'll throw those curveballs in there just for fun to see, where it sticks.
That's
and if
right.
it sucks, it sucks. Hey, it happens.
That's right. And definitely looking forward to this weekend with college football truly coming back this week. Clash at the Castle with WWE coming up next week. This Saturday. NFL starting them next week. I'm telling you, I know we said this time and time again, but it's not only a great day to be a sports fan, but like the great Travis Tritt says, it is a great day to be alive, my brothers. It is definitely a great day to be alive. So especially with football season coming around. So ready, set, take off.
Absolutely. Also, real quick, just you mentioned that I'm planning on my next thing be next concert. One of my next concerts be the one, the only Travis Tritt coming up to Elkhart, Indiana, doing a show. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, nice. When's that going to be?
December 8th at the Lerner Theater. It's a nice
Very
little
nice.
venue out in Elkhart, which is about an hour and a half away.
Yeah,
But
not bad.
It'll be a fun
Not
show.
bad.
Not
All right,
bad.
Steven, you know the drill. Let's close it out.
Man, Man, okay. Before we wrap this up, Joey, Randy, thanks for knowing my secret. I guess.
I thought
screw
you. I thought your secret is you love being rickrolled.
Well,
Yeah, that's
anyway,
true, too.
anyways,
Oh.
anyways, so great show with you guys talking about our predictions for the NFL season starting next week. Really looking, sir. I caught that. Anyways, so cannot wait for this weekend in wrestling. I mean, All Out in Chicago, WWE Clash at the Castle, and please, for the love of God, Drew McIntyre, I'm begging you, WWE, please let McIntyre come back out to one of the coolest, badass theme songs in
guys.
wrestling.
Whoa!
Broken Dreams, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Oh my God, I love that song. Ever since he's been teasing that song on social media, I have been playing that song at times on my drum kit behind me here in my room. I just love that song, man. It just kicks ass. Great song, man. Oh, I love that. Man, if he comes out to that, there's going to be some screaming heads. It's going to be amazing. I mean, I'm looking forward to that match. I mean, between McIntyre and Reigns. I mean, the story they've been telling with those two, and the video package last week with McIntyre was just, oh my God, it was so good. So good. And man, you're going to have a great time in Chicago this weekend at All Out, Fan Fest, hanging out with Dave and Mark and everybody from Busted Open, going to Rampage this Friday in Chicago. And super excited for the next couple of days for myself, because tomorrow and Thursday, I'm going to yet again 2 more concerts. Tomorrow in Charlotte, and on Thursday in North Carolina. On Wednesday, it is going to be Evanescence and Korn.
Nice.
And then Thursday, it's about to get a little hot up in this bitch. Yes, that's right. It's the Red Hot Chili Peppers making the best stop to the Carolina Panthers football stadium, because it ain't going to be the Panthers this year. Sorry, Panthers fans. I know you wanted me to hear to say that. But no, they're not going to be red hot. The Chili Peppers are going to be red hot in that stadium, lighting that stadium on fire with all of the funkness of them, with Flea and John and Chad and man, just 3 of the baddest musicians on this planet, man. Anthony on them vocals, man. I mean, it's going to be a killer show. And a couple of my friends are going to be there. I cannot wait for those 2 shows this week. And once again, you can also check me out this Saturday with my Gropey and my Tony Justice, in Devhausen on the Nation's Corner, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. Also, follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is at the Nation's Corner. And also, once again, before we go off the air, you can follow us on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and on YouTube at YouTube.com/Our Nation's Sports Show. Ezra, wrap this bad boy up, my friend.
Yep, as always, thank you guys for coming on the show, doing the picks and all that. We appreciate thanking everybody who watched. Of course, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Don't forget to like all of our social medias, individual social medias as well. Don't forget to like Too Sweet Cosplay. Don't forget to like the Nation's Quarter. All that good stuff, man. We got a lot to do, and it's going to be a busy weekend for me, and I can't wait to be a part of this historic weekend once again with All Out. But enough about that. Let's close this show out right. So for Stephen Wyand, for Joseph Thorne, and for Randy Giron, I am Ezra Vickery, and we will see you right here next week for another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody, and have a great, absolute great weekend. Peace.